Audio को button है लवन हो चुकी है।
अरे इधर snacks में ना അടുത്ത top. Iko. Fourth.
Some delay.
Hey everyone, we are having snacks right now. You can enjoy snacks as well as have some networking.
Yeah,
with all people.
right, sir. Which camera is this?
Oh, there's some delay. So it's in the front
okay,
camera.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something called Go. So what was
Go live was this. just now I checked and it's ready.
the button was? I do this like once a month, right? So I keep getting whatever and click.
Last time was the Carnival.
Huh?
Last time was the Carnival. Last time.
I don't know. I just click go live. The term just goes live, right? I don't think about this that much. Anup is going to be our official live stream. He's going to let you I make a mess of this thing. What is on
Hi everyone. It's recording, right? Hi everyone. Welcome back. I hope everyone's had some good snacks and some networking. Now we get started with the second talk, the future of AI with open source tools by Rajesh Ramakrishnan. Rajesh?
Do you need time to set up, Rajesh? Or you set up? You're ready. You set up, right? Okay.
Get started. So, one. How was this nice? See, that's one of the finest place in this organization. So everybody gathered and we have some kind of tea, snacks and everything. It's a kind of assembly area. Okay, so whenever we have something to say, what in a casual way, we will gather there and we will discuss. At the end of the day, or at the end of the discussion, we will have finest set of thoughts. So let me first set up the stage, okay? So I could see that some young, fresh minds here, some experienced folks here. So I need a kind of balance, and only I can move forward. So let me start up with a story, okay? Not a story, it's a kind of experience. A couple of months back, we went there and we were sitting together and we started discussing about some AA boom. Okay. So we had a team here with kind of common mentalities and we discussed and finalized starting of an AA project. So it's simple. We come up with an idea, we form a group, we type create POs. So you know what is POs. Proof of concept. Whenever we are doing something, we need to make it happen. For that, we just need a proof. Then only the higher management or respective top management will be accepting that idea. We just need funding, we just need spending hours. There are many associated things. So in order to get that, we start with POs. Yeah. So within a couple of weeks, we could able to deliver that POs. And the end result was everybody was happy with that, and the CEO, CTO, they accepted. Okay. We were very happy, and we started our actual development. Then the entire thing was changing. Okay. So the very first.
Rajesh, can you stand here?
When we started the actual development, a lot of issues were popping up. Whatever we thought, it was not the real scenario. So we were having issues, we were having longer breakdowns and burnouts. Even after months, we couldn't be able to deliver that actual expectation. First, we thought of completing everything within a couple of months. We committed a release date. We repeatedly changed and we were forced to change the release date because we couldn't be able to deliver that kind of perfection. So that is the reality of delay. Okay. So we firstly think that okay, it will happen within no time, but including some kind of 50 to 60% we can easily achieve. So the remaining thing, it's an open question. Okay. So why I am saying is currently the situation of the AI is that it is considered by some 3 or 4 companies. So it's a kind of limitation. We can't be able to approach, or we don't get any kind of resources or open source materials. So this post kind of gaps, we need to consider this actively, then only that AI will happen everywhere. Otherwise, some 2 or 3 companies will monopolize and they will have the entire country. We don't know what exactly they will do. We don't have any prediction, like how they will be using the technology, how they use it for business or any other kind of purposes. So the importance of open source is very vital in this case. Okay. So within that mindset, I'm inviting you all to session, the future of artificial intelligence in open source skills. So nothing complex with it. You can understand, all you people are having curiosity to understand things, but I can explain in the simplest way. These things are, most of the things are self-explanatory, but let me explain it. I'm currently pointing all things towards the future. The existing scenarios, everybody knows how we use. At least the ChatGPT you might have experience, right? Everyone is doing something ChatGPT and even coding or even for preparing a mail or a project presentation. Currently, we are asking the help of ChatGPT. So there are various other tools. A similar way or in a better way, they will bring result. For that, we need to improvise. So currently there are solutions, but on top of that, we can do some kind of customization. And only we will be getting some improvised results. So for that, this openness is required. So that thing, the democratizing AI development. So that's the thing we need to consider every day. A vast and growing ecosystem. So as I said earlier, day by day there are new models coming out, new research is happening, and the accuracy is increasing. For example, considering in the case of ChatGPT, there are different versions for the last few months. So first, when they introduced, they had a token limit, and we were repeatedly seeing the screen like this bandwidth, we couldn't able to do anything, or they may be asking for kind of recharge. So currently they have increased the token limit and everything. So similar to that, there are many open source AI models also released. They are giving much better results, so we doesn't need to go behind this ChatGPT. For example, the Llama, you might have heard of it. It was came in news like a leakage, but soon Meta made it as open source. Currently we are actively using it. So on top of that, there are customized Llama models where you can easily get the exact result of ChatGPT with this open kind of model. So a diverse community of contributors. So as I said, the openness relies in the communities. We can't get everything within a closed loop. So whenever we have that open support, the entire world, like the alchemist way, if you want to achieve something, the entire universe will start conspiring to achieve. So similar way, the strength of openness lies in that community status. So whenever we are having large bunch of people, we will be getting that finest result. You can see that whenever we started, we had a video that day was describing about some millions of stars into his that repository, the postman. So that came with that openness. So whenever we are having that contribution, then the community will start delivering something. Okay, so whenever I hope you all having a minimal technical background. So whenever you are doing something, immediately you will be asking for some reference, probably some GitHub repositories. So whenever we are having that kind of searching, the very first thing you will be noticing about that stars. The increased star will increase trust and within that test we can build our own standards. So improved and adapted. Next is benefits. Okay. So currently Google will come up with a part, OpenAI, ChatGPT. Microsoft is already make association with this part, this OpenAI. And there are many other things happening in the industry. But see, suppose you want to do something as a startup culture where in a small organization state, you can't compete with this Google or OpenAI. So only thing we can do is that we need some kind of open source tools. The Llama introduced, everyone was running between with Llama. Why? Because that was open thing and we can do something. Otherwise, there will be some kind of copyright issues. We don't know what exactly the trained data. There are n number of hidden scenarios. So in order to recover, we need to get some kind of platform. Then only we can arrange or we can improvise or at least understand something. So for that, that openness is needed, and that's the beneficiaries. So ultimately, we are the beneficiaries. If we have some kind of mindset, we need a mentality to accept this openness, and only we will have kind of improvisation. But we need to make research. For that, this openness is required. The benefits. Okay. So hope you all know GAW. That's a kind of parent of that Linux. Okay. So do you know how that evolved? Okay, let me tell you a story. It happened around 1980s. Okay. It's in MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Okay. So there was a printer. It was stopped working. Okay. So that manufacturer of the printer was Xerox. MIT is a kind of the eminent personalities gathering place. So one software engineer, he was around 27 years age. He used to repair printers. So he approached the system and he tried to debug that source. So in between, he was able to identify that there are some portions of that software he couldn't have access. So when he sent a mail or communicated with that vendor, they were saying that it is a proprietary software. They couldn't give that access to that guy. So he was frustrated because he already repaired other printers, but he couldn't able to do anything on this particular set. Then after a couple of years, around 1983, he come up with an operating system. Okay, that is his DNA. So the initiation of DNA happened with this printer mechanics. And that created, that was, at that time it was Unix. The entire world was controlled by this Unix operating system. So when this GNU came out, there was a open source alternative, and later, see, we are using this Linux and everything. There are different versions of Linux, but the history of the Linux lies in that malfunction printer. And don't know the correctness, but this is it. Now we are celebrating GNU's 40th birthday, okay, 2023 is 40th. And innovation and collaboration. So actually these are benefits. Whenever we are investing our time or energy to something, we will get benefited. It is a positive way or negative way, we will be getting some experience. On top of that experience, we can contribute and we can share that knowledge. So that, say for example, I am knowing something and discussing something with you, you will be having a different mindset, you will be collaborating. As I said earlier, when we are sitting in family, we will be discussing many things. Out of that, we just started kind of a team. Then people gather and same mentality, they were discussing something, and out of that, we come up with a common conclusion and we started it as a MVP. MVP means minimum viable product. Okay. So end of the end result will be a minimum viable product. Flexibility and customization. So whenever we have that source code, we can do any number of things on that. Whether it will work or not, we will do something. On top of that, somebody will success, other will fail. But ultimately, there is an experience. On top of that, we can move forward. AI for good. probably now the entire world is thinking in this way. Like we have technologies, we know what exactly we will be doing within a couple of years. But the impact, okay, so you all be familiar with that Indian movie. There are many scientific movies. So, for example, if we are aiming for a good cause, unintentionally something which may happen in a worse phase. So that we need to consider. Even Salman, not Salman, but I just forgot his name, father of OpenAI. Anybody who invented this ChatGPT, he was saying that he is reaching towards a limit, and even he couldn't predict how this AI will go. So everybody is fearing. Okay, even the European Standard Committee and everybody is saying that they need to put hard restrictions on this AI development. Then only it will be under control. Otherwise, somehow somebody will do some malfunctionalities. It will kind of affect the entire human kind. And one more. See, the entire world is consisting of many different varieties of people. For example, we have climate changes or poverty and diseases. So whenever we have that good AI possibilities, we can easily understand. For example, there is a threat coming next week. With the data analysis, we can easily come up with the preventive measures. So the AI have vast range of possibilities. So whenever we are having that kind of understanding and having a good course, we can easily mitigate so many catastrophes. AI for the edge computing. So currently, somebody was saying that IoT things, and we have wearables, and there are many classification of belongings. So every place you can implement AI. For example, we have the smart watches. We are collecting the data every time, everywhere. Within data, we can easily come up with some calculations, and within that calculation, we can easily come up with some kind of notices or warning or kind of summaries. So to the age, the space and everything can be increased in stupendous manner. Responsible AI. So whenever we are facing this, again I'm relating that concept of openness. When we are having that proper community, we will be having that openness, and we can easily come up with new solutions. These are some of the case studies. So the DeepMind. So much is one of the open AI tool is used in healthcare. Transportation, we are using OpenAI, so you can easily Google it. Okay. TensorFlow Lite is used in the manufacturing industry. So these are basic examples. There are n number of other platforms, tools available in the industry. Some of them are used. OpenAI is used for agriculture. Okay, so these are the case studies and how the future of open source AI. Nobody is having a clear-cut definition on it. Everybody is saying many things. So out of that, I just summarize few things. So one among those is democratization. As I said earlier, when he have that kind of large data set pool of resources, that openness will by default will come. Like the only said, like we don't need to focus on result, just focus on the process. The process will bring the result. So we just need to democratize things so that how the data is going, how the result is fetching, how the mechanism is, so everybody knows. So that transparency is needed. Otherwise, we don't know. For example, if we are giving every one data to some third-party agency, we don't know what exactly they are doing with the data. It can come up with a good course, but we don't have any assurance how it will do. So that is a democratization, so that we will be getting better. And accelerate innovation. So a bunch of 3 or 4 or 5 people doing something is entirely different from this open source repositories. We just committed a code somewhere so that the entire university can look on that. They can actually create pull requests and active suggestions. Within that, we can easily spread out. Promote transparency and accountability. So whatever we are doing, the whole world is listening back. So within that concern, we will be automatically thinking about the good courses rather than hiring or doing some malpractices. We will be unanimously working towards a common good. So that's the conclusion. So even more than you can always get to this. Open source AI is powerful tool that is shaping the future. Whether it is open source or not, this is fact. But at some point, this closed loop will get a saturation. But for the openness or the open community, this wouldn't happen. Every day, people are contributing and we'll be getting new fresh thoughts, and within that, we can do many things. By making AI more accessible, affordable, innovative, and accountable, open source AI is enabling new and exciting AI applications in a wide range of industries. So we are not setting up any limits. Even we don't know how it will be in coming months or years or nearby or long future. So the entire thing is changing and shaping the new future. Get involved in the open source AI community and start, of course, the aim of FOSS is that TTO is a talented open source alternative. That's a wonderful thing. So in a generic way, the researchers say that whenever we are having a closed or proprietary software, there will be an alternative open source component within some 6 to 7 years. So even if we don't consider things, it will automatically happen. And thanks to this kind of services like GitHub, now there is no need to wait this kind of 7 years. That gap is reducing in a better way. So that even you can see that whenever I am starting my career or even my academic, I don't have kind of understanding you people are having that. So no, you need things like these events are happening, you are attending, you are getting knowledge. So you don't want to wait this kind of 7 years to complete an open source software. So that's why I'm saying that. Yeah, so these are the rather than asking questions, let's we can discuss. We are open up for discussion.
See, the thing with this open source AI is really right now is it's really the data sets for training these models, right? So that is that's what I really feel. We need this kind of, even for fine tuning and all that, we need good data sets. Like there were some talks on language models, for example, at the end, and they were saying, these companies like Microsoft, Google, they just have so much data to work on, which we don't have. That is their monopoly, and now how do we go for that? That's what I keep thinking about. We just
So for example, if the Llama we are scholars saying that it's open source, but we don't have any idea about the data set, they are hiding it. But we need to generate kind of alternatives. For example, Wikipedia, we have a large data set. We need to use some open. We need to generate it. Otherwise, we don't have data set. We need to generate data sets.
And the thing of maybe if you think about India, we are not like a very highly online community like say what the United States is, or even Japan is, right? The Japanese are like they literally live online in their language, like Japanese, and that's why the Japanese are able to come up with pretty good. I think they're working on a government sponsored language model. In our case, the thing is, we don't have that kind of data sets.
But there are companies. There Pratilipi, or what was the name of that organization, which is building like a data set of languages, Indian languages, communication in Indian languages. I'm not sure, but there is a company. Yeah, data is.
It is available in India?
No, it's a problem.
It is a problem.
But on the other hand, India is one of the finest area we can do this data set training, because we don't have that kind of policy restrictions. Whenever we are doing something in US, we need to think about the penalties. But here nobody is caring.
There is rent seeking. In India, there is rent seeking. You will see that babus won't allow you to do data collection in certain areas.
But that's not in a legal way. Like for example, we don't have that kind of restricted rules here. Even the other details will be getting in a...
There are data protection laws in India, but they are not strict for certain entities. They are strict for others. Like,
as long as we don't collect their data, there.
Yeah.
There are many loopholes.
No, even if you make use of loopholes, if you are not bribing certain entities, they will try to scuttle your efforts.
Yeah, actually things, for example, whenever we are going to the Lulu mall, or there will be a box, we will be saying that their mobile phone is our spreads. We will simply putting our mobile number and every details, our age group and everything.
And just entering the facility of Cubet.
I think, maybe...
Ultimately they are collecting our data. with no cost.
Maybe a good open source project would be, people coming together and actually forming these data sets, like what Wikipedia is today, people coming in.
But as you said, it needs some variety. Only with having that accuracy. Otherwise, currently we are facing that.
Yeah.
Accuracy and infrastructure. Those are the two.
Oh yeah, infrastructure is another thing. Is GPUs, right? My God.
That's for training.
That's for training, but still, that's
You can actually rent nowadays using cloud. You can do like
cost is
collab.
very high. For example, if you are posting somewhere.
Comparatively, PPP versus sure, but
it's not like writing software, right? Once you get into hardware, it's expensive. It's very expensive, right? Getting into hardware.
So for a day, we are spending around $30. So for smaller companies or an individual setup, we can't. We had a lot of doubts and we discussed with some other people. They would be explaining their hardware structure. Even our company can't afford that.
So that's another training model. I don't know. Is it because if we change the language, say if we don't use Python for machine learning, I've been thinking, can we actually?
Yeah, CPP is somewhere, but it is having better result as well.
That's what, right? We can reuse the kind of resources that we need. It's a very
like even in Python, underneath it's running NumPy, which is written in C, C++. Yeah, TensorFlow is also like almost all the tools that you are using for doing calculations under the hood. They are doing SIMD calculations using CUDA or something which is way more performant.
So that is also not a solution. I think we.
We should come up with a solution to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't build ASICs.
Oh yeah. Let's not go there.
Within a couple of years, this may change. For example, we started with the properties, having 2 MB, 3 MB data. Now we are discussing in terms of TVs.
No, there is hope. Like India, we are moving towards a semiconductor driven IT field. So sooner or later, we'll see that ASICs are also being built. And
India has a very prolific semiconductor design industry.
Design industries.
Fantastic.
But it's controlled by these Honeywell and
basically it's like Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA also has a big team in India. Then there is a small design team in Hyderabad for Apple. Google has just started their Bangalore office. Silicon team just started Silicon team there. There is talent in India, but again, still a shortage of talent. There is a shortage of talent in India also for semiconductor. It's not easy doing these things. Designing a chip is very expensive, and
we'll see.
We'll see.
But data and
infrastructure, you're right. Data and devices. That's where we had the advantage that we could write software, but now we're limited by data and the machines we need for that. We don't control it.
Like even at the fundamental level, right? We do have good engineers, but we don't have like fundamental understanding among engineers. That's what I've seen. Like the skill gap is still there. You can build brute force, but like out of the box thinking in terms of using special case functions or
100%. That's a very small group of individuals, and they're concentrated in these certain parts of the industry. Again, that depends on your pay structure and all that, and compensation.
That's why you will see that innovative stuff like RLHF is being built at OpenAI. It's not being built in India.
Even Google, there was some leakage of information. Like they were saying that even OpenAI or Google can't survive with this kind of closed loop. And for the future of AI is in place with open source.
Well, thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you.
Thank you for we take a 5-minute break and then start? We take a 5-minute break. I'll try this.
Amit, can you set up your...
Yeah, I stopped. No, I stopped. I share this file So before Akash left, he gave some positive. A new IT, he said, no, I'll give you some sound card. I don't know the option.
Sound card, where do you insert it? You just plug it in?
Probably use it.
Do you have it?
No.
Android it,
I was going to tell Andrew to give it to him, but I'm going to collect it because he just next to my house. One month. A couple of hours ago, he actually sent me a photo saying that, because I was asking him, hey, how DevCon is going on. He sent me, hey. And then I was seeing a bunch of messages on my phone and stuff. I can't believe that that's what I'm I take my phone, I'm seeing these messages, and below that I'm seeing it both. The 2 or 3 o'clock I see a both something content. People are breaking messages. And then finally I message Okay, it is what it is. No, one day then they somehow adjusted everything.
Felt like everyone would have gone for
Hello. Yeah. So the final session for today is being presented by Amit. He'll be talking about Nix and Nix OS. Amit.
Hi everyone, I'm Amit. I'm working as a senior software engineer here at Cubet, and today I'd like to talk about Nix and Nix OS. So, what is Nix? Nix is a package manager and a configuration language, and it has this declarative and functional approach, and it has more than 80k packages. It just surpassed Arch user repository, which was the most popular repository before Nix. And the key features of Nix are declarative package management. This is an example of Nix configuration file where you specify the source of the package and version name, etc. And you just build with this Nix build command.
That language that is it Lua?
No, it's Nix.
It's Nix itself.
It's just created for the purpose of packaging.
What is it? Okay.
And it has this atomic upgrades and rollback. So if you can try it on every software, and if something breaks, you can just easily roll back to the previous version. So you won't break your system. You always have an option to roll back. And yeah, you can override the existing packages. This is an example of NNN, which is a terminal file manager. So if you need icons for that, you can just override the flags like this. And it also has this multi-user support. So each user could have separate packages installed. One user could have Brave installed there, and then the other user could have Firefox installed. And they will be completely isolated from each other. In traditional systems like Ubuntu, you would install packages globally, and both users would be able to access that. But in Nix, they are completely isolated. And yeah, you can use the Nix package manager in almost every distro like Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, whatever you are using. And it also has support for macOS. So, and then there is this NixOS. It's an operating system built on top of this Nix package manager and the configuration language. So here is an example of the configuration file. So you can set the host name like that, and you can enable the Nginx service. And here is an example of a virtual host called example.com, and you can just enable the SSL and all this stuff with just a single field. And you are just proxy passing it to localhost 8080. And there is also SSH, OpenSSH enabled. And there is a user called NGO, which is a normal user, and he is in the wheel group. So this is just an overview of NixOS configuration file. And you can search the packages on this search.nixos.org file. Also, I have created a shell script for skimming through all the packages. I'll just show the site. So you can just search for if you want like vendor. You can just see the package and the platform is supported. So it's not available on macOS, but there is a tool called JQ, which is a JSON processor. So if you go to the details, you can see how to install it using ENV, which uses a imperative approach, just like so if it install, and there is this configuration, which you can add it like this, and usually it has support for Darwin, which is Mac. Here you can also skim through the packages using the script. So if you want password store, the password store is a package, it's a password manager using PNG. You can just skim through all the packages like this, and you will just get an overview of a package. So if you are exploring Linux, you can just use this script and go through a lot of packages, and you will get an idea of what it actually is. And what are the benefits of Nix and NixOS? So you have a consistent server deployments. So if you write configuration for one machine and you can just deploy it to another machine, the both machines will be identical. You will get exact machine with the same configuration. So it's like your entire operating system will be configured in the code. And there is a code called NixOps, which is a RevOps tool that is used to deploy machines like Terraform, Ansible, etc. You can just provision machines and deploy it easily using this Nixoop tool. And it's much easier than creating a lot of bash script and Ansible playbook. You can just, this is an example of Docker file. This is an example of Docker container running called update QMA, which is used to check the status of certain services. So you see, this is a Docker container. So the code here is an example for that. So you can, instead of running Docker run, etc., you can just write the code for it, and you can replicate it across different machines. And it's very easy to contribute. All you need is a GitHub account, and you can just send PR to this repository, and your package will be there. And just show one PR made by me to a package called NanoTTS. This is the PR to add that package into this Nix packages repository. So if you, this is the format for that, and if you check the files, you see I have added myself to the maintenance list, and you can, this is the file, this is the NanoTTS package file, which is used to build that package. So you just specify the upstream repository in GitHub, and you just pass the build and the files which is required for it to build properly, and you just add some metadata, and you can just pack it. And yeah, as I said, it's easy to reproduce your configuration across machines. So if you are changing your laptop, or if you have 3 or 2 machines, it will be really easy for you to replicate the complete development environment. And if you are like changing company, all you have to do, all you have to tell the infra team is to install Nix, and you can just have your entire productivity tools and everything installed.
Just a quick question. Reproducibility at the level of the dependency?
Yeah. You can have one version of Firefox and another version of Firefox running at the same time with a different desktop file.
So how is isolation supported here?
Like,
No, what's the level of isolation?
yeah, I mean,
Are you isolating the dependencies themselves?
Yeah.
The names, you are namespacing the dependencies.
no, it's using a hash. You are isolating the dependency. So if you are using the same glib for some ground libraries, they are independent. If you are having one glib version, it won't collide with this package. So it's completely isolated. And there is this Nix shell.nix file which you can add to your project, just like Docker file. So you just have to specify the packages you need, and yeah, you'll just have a development environment. Many of the projects in GitHub have this shell.nix. So just like Docker file, you just have to run the Nix shell command. I'll just give an example. So I just create a file, and I'll just copy the comments and show it back. So after that, you just have to run this Nix shell command, and you will be in a new shell with these packages. So you can run just Python, and if you try to import, the packages will be there.
At the underlying level, like at the lower level, Are you familiar with how they do dependency management? Are the dependencies stored globally or are they stored?
No, it's isolated. Like I can have beautiful soap for installed in this shell.mix file, and could have another project with another version of beautiful soup, for example. So that.
But they're stored globally.
Hmm?
But are they stored globally? Are they accessible at a global level?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like.
It's like in this Nix store. If you check this Nix store, and you will be able to see a lot of packages.
Thanks.
You see, instead of having user lib or user binary, it has this hashing method. And yeah, as I said, it's easy to roll back. So if you mess up your configuration and you can't access to the path or environment, you can just reboot your system and you will see the different versions in your grub menu. Like you select Windows or Ubuntu, you can just select the previous version of the Nix and you will be good to go. And this is just how you install packages. Instead of sudo apt install, you just do nix env I and the package name Cubet. And yeah, it has almost everything. It has like Vim plugins, VS Code extensions, Emacs package, whatever you're searching, Python packages, everything might be packaged in Nix. So if you search, you see the resolution is very low, so like you can't see the full name, but it has almost every VS Code extension in it. Like in VS Code, you can install all the extensions from the VS Code marketplace. So if you use this way, it will be fairly easy for you to have all the extensions installed. And the challenges while using CC is it has a very steep learning curve. When you are a beginner, it will be really hard for you to use. But once you understand, you have this complete configuration as code. There are a lot of possibilities, and yeah, it is kind of superior to Arch CMX. So there will be a lot of people saying, by the way, I use Arch, so you could flex over them. And yeah, these are the documentations, and they have an official Discord group and a Telegram forum, and you can easily search issues on the GitHub.
What is NixOS based on then? Debian?
No, it's completely different.
Is it?
Yeah, like it doesn't have this user lib. Yeah, this is not a NixOS, this is Nix installed on Ubuntu. So I can't show, but it doesn't have this user lib / the path Linux tree. There will be Linux tree common to every distribution, but this is entirely different. It just have Nix store and hash. Yeah, it's completely different.
Can I take the Nix package management system?
Mac.
Can I put it on something like Ubuntu or Arch Linux?
Yeah, it's even supporting
All the
Mac.
Nix
All the Nix
operating systems. Only Windows, like Windows, like operating systems, you can't.
No, you can use it in Windows, but you can use it in Macs because Unix only support Unix.
So can I use it side by side with say APT and Pacman and all that?
Yeah, so I have this. It's the office machine, so I have this APT. I have this APT installed and I have both Nix installed. So you can just easily try it out using NixOS. Might be kind of difficult, but just trying out Nix package manager is fairly easy. And these are some sites to get you started with Nix, 0 to Nix, Nix fields, Nix dev. And you can also explore some configurations of some Nix experts, so you get idea and some code snippet to copy and try it out. And by default, you can't install any non-free proprietary software in Nix. You would have to export or set this variable. For example, if I try to install this code.
You cannot do local installs then? Like say if I have a pack, say like in Arch Linux, what we do is we have the .gst file or say in Debian .deb file, and we can just, at least in Pacman we do a hyphen capital U. That means sort of an upgrade. We can do that with NixOS. What?
There is some third-party Nix tools which will allow you to run that, app image, like, Debian package, you can install it like that. So if you would convert it into the Nix parent, instead of first class support is a third part, there are a lot of third parties.
It's not.
Because they recommend you to use it in this way, but because when you just download a binary and install it, if you try to replicate it on another system, you wouldn't have that binary. So that's why you just have the definition for the package. So if you try to install this code, it wouldn't allow you to do it. So you have to export this variable and install it. And there is Keys, which is more liberated version of Nix inspired by Nix. So it has almost around 26K packages and it's done by GNU team. And it doesn't use Nix language, it uses a QA language created by GNU team for extending their packages. And it doesn't have any support for proprietary packages like Nix. In Nix GitHub repo, if you look, you will have a lot of proprietary packages definitions. But in Gits you won't find it. You would have to use some third-party repository to just install Steam, Discord, etc. And there is no binary key. You would have to install every software by yourself, like in Gendo. There is no binary key in Gits, but in Nix there is binary key. So you don't have to build it from scratch. And that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, you can just contact me on Telegram, Discord, or I'll be happy to help with Nix related queries or something.
Okay. So thank you everyone for attending. With this, we are ending our sessions today. See you at the next session from
IBM
November.
ISL. Next one is in IBM ISL, November 25th. So the next one will be at IBM on November 25th.